Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to Hybrid Now. Today, we're going to be putting the plates on the car, but it's not just a matter of putting license plates on a car for me. They've got to be just right. And if you're particular about the looks of your car, don't let it down by not doing this right. Now, I may go a little overboard, but I have a blackout theme on the car, right? I mean, I blacked out the emblem. I've gotten rid of all the emblems and badges and all that stuff on the car, and I want to carry that through with the license plate. So I've got a bunch of hardware and stuff over here. I made a trip to Lowe's this morning. I know I'm a little off, right? These are all the badges, by the way, that I removed. I will admit, almost all of them are blacked out, so I could have left some if I wanted. I know some folks had issue with me removing the Prius. And let me say, I'm not trying to hide what it is. I just don't like letters on the car. That's all, for the most part. So I've got a bunch of hardware here. What I'm going to do is replace the chrome hardware that it came with this stuff. Then I'm also going to put a couple of frames around the plates. This is a 2-pack. Picked this up at O'Reilly's. As I mentioned, all that stuff from Lowe's. And since there's only a set of 2 screws on the front of the car, here and here, I want it to be uniform. So I'm going to put some screws on the bottom of the plate in front for no other reason than to kind of hold it into the frame and also just have a uniform look. Okay, what I'm going to do first on the front is go ahead and get the plate bolted in or screwed into the frame that I have here. Again, these serve no purpose other than aesthetics, just to make it look uniform. That's the general idea. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and just bolt through the bottom. Again, these just kind of hang loose, so it's not a big deal from the back side. I did, unfortunately, have to get chrome nuts. You won't be able to see them, I don't think, but if you can, I suppose I could paint them if I want to. These are going to be an M6 screw, so a metric screw. And I got the 12s, and I also got the 16s. Here are the part numbers, if you guys want to see this, or exactly what they are, rather. I think I'm going to go with the 12s if I can, because I don't want them, rather, to protrude very far through, only to hold that plate on. That's the idea. So it's very simple. This isn't rocket science. You just want to go ahead and bolt them on. They are a hex nut, a cap screw, and they're going to look just like so when they're on. And I do have plenty of room on the back, as you can see here, for the nuts. And I think they're going to be behind this little ridge, so you're not going to be able to see them from the front anyway. So I'm going to go ahead and put those on. I might use a little bit of Loctite just to secure them well, and then we'll move on to putting the plate on the car itself, which should look pretty good. I think that's going to be a pretty good blacked out look. And fortunately, in Texas, we have the black and white, I guess, plate, so should be pretty good. Okay, got all the hardware over here as well as the Loctite. I did get some washers as well. Let's see, it's these. If you guys want to know exactly what I got, they're just a number 10 washer. As far as the nuts go, they're an M6 by 1. And then I got some split washers, lock washers, whatever you want to call them. They're just 1/4 inch. Everything in black that I could get. So let's go ahead, get some Loctite on here. I am going to use a washer on the cap screw. Let's see here. This stuff is always such a mess. But I guess if you want to play, you gotta pay, right? Again, I know this is not rocket science. We're going to put a split washer on, and then we're going to grab a nut, and that'll be what we tighten it all down. Go ahead and do the same thing on the other side. That's how it's going to look with those on. I'm going to go ahead and tighten them down. They do take a number 5 Allen key, by the way. I'm going to go ahead and tighten them down, and then we'll put the plate on the car. As far as the screws for the car, these are a 6.35 millimeter by 19 millimeter, 1/4 by 3/4 inch, they're called. These came from O'Reilly's as well. Going to use 2 of those. What I like about these, number 1, they fit the holes, the right threading, and number 2, they have a built-in edge, whatever you call these. I don't know if there's a special name for them. I'm sure there is, I don't see it, but they have a lip over the top, if you will, to kind of grab the hole. So they're going to go in just like so. Let's go ahead and put those on. Alright, since we have to have plates here in Texas, front plates, let's go ahead and get these on. Hopefully they fit well. They should. They appeared to be the same thread as what the originals were, I hope. We're going to know in a minute. And they do not appear to be the same. That's kind of a bummer. So I do have an alternative method. So let me grab that and I'll show you. What I've got is as an alternative are these. These are screws I already had. They still have this lip at the top, which I like, so that's cool. They actually came from a Toyota Tacoma holding down the tailgate cover, if you will, inside the tailgate. That thing sitting right over there. So I got lucky there. Let's go ahead and try these. I did test them earlier before I went with anything else, and they seem to fit okay. Hopefully I didn't mess up the threading trying to do the other one. Doesn't appear so. So let's see. I am not going to put Loctite on these. I don't think it's necessary, so I'm just gonna go with this. And I think I'll grab a ratchet. It's a 10 millimeter that I'm using, by the way, so I'm gonna just grab a 10 millimeter socket. The holy grail for the Toyota Tacoma, by the way, if you didn't know. Everything is 10 millimeter. You could probably take the whole truck apart with a 10 millimeter socket. All right, let's get serious here. You don't want to overpower these. There's no need to do that. They're only really held on by an aluminum or some other alloy clip on the back that's threaded. That's all it is. So you don't want to go nuts. I always use the wrist tightening rule. Use one hand and whatever you can twist with your wrist, like so. I actually could go too far with this, but whatever you can twist with your wrist, that's all you really need to do. So that's what I'm doing, and there you go. That's the finished look, if you will. Let's make sure we have you guys in the frame. Looks like we do. Again, it's a simple little thing. I know this is probably petty to some, but I want the car to look good, and since the plate is bigger than the plate that's on the car, if you will, just thought it was a nice touch to go ahead and put the bolts on the bottom as well as on the top to kind of keep it from flapping around as much as possible. There is going to be some movement, but unless you put screws through the plate itself up here, it's really a poor setup for this. They should have made this a little bit longer if you had to have it, but then, I don't know, I suppose it sticks down too far. So that's the front. We're going to do the back next. All right, finishing up on the rear. I did the same thing on the bottoms. I will caution you though, if you do this, the bolt bottom is going to stick through a little bit, so inevitably it's going to rub on the finish back here. I don't think it's a problem because you have to have a rear plate. You're never going to see it, but just be mindful of that. You might want to put, I don't know, some kind of a rubber grommet or something on there just to kind of hold it. Maybe glue a rubber grommet or something on. Of course, that's going to change the angle and you're going to be even more angled on the plate, at least a little bit. So just be mindful of that if that concerns you. It doesn't concern me. By the way, there is one other little Easter egg back here. I'll put a quick picture up of this because you're never going to see it again. It's a picture of the Prius and it says since 1997. Don't know if you can see it on camera, but here it is. All right, got my screws. Let's go ahead, finish this incredibly complicated mod up. Yeah, I did say mod, because it is a bit of a mod. It's kind of a license plate mod, if you will. Alright. This uses a Torx bit 30, by the way, in case you're interested. Go ahead and get that one started, and get the other one in. And I always go too far with this, so I'm gonna just stop. That's it. There is a little bit of movement. It is not actually touching the car underneath there, so I think it'll be okay. Anyway, that's the finished product for the rear. Again, a little overkill, I know, but just trying to maintain the black theme of the car with the black hardware. Doesn't make a lot of sense to me to put chrome hardware on there if you're going for a blacked out theme with the rest of the car, right? I think it looks pretty good. All right, there you have it. The rear is done. The front is done. The license plates are on. I guess I'm legal now. Anyway, a bit of an overkill mod, I know, and it's not a complicated mod. But like I said, just something to kind of keep the blacked out theme going for as much as you can do when you're required to have front and rear license plates. Oh, and a sticker. There'll be a sticker in the window too, by the way. Leave a comment. Let me know. Do you go to these kind of extremes with your Prius to keep it looking the way that you want it, or to make it the way that you want it? I'd be curious to know. Leave a comment. Thanks for watching. Stay safe out there. Bye.